We got another driver that ended a long winless streak in Brian Blaney, which he finally broke at the Coca-Cola 600 on Monday on Memorial Day, which was postponed from Sunday. Blaney gave team owner Roger Penske the first same-year sweep of the Indianapolis 500, which is IndyCar's biggest race and NASCAR's longest in the 600. Blaney dominated with his 12 Team Penske Ford and led most of the 400-lap race by leading 163 of them. It was also the most laps that he ever led in a race. It was also the first win on the 1.5-mile oval version of Charlotte and the 8th of his career. Blaney won a day after Josef Newgarden gave Penske's 19th Indianapolis 500 win in a last-lap pass. Blaney got his first win since August 28, 2021 at Daytona and ended a 59-race winless streak as well. Here's Blaney talking about holding off the field restart after restart to get the win and more, courtesy of Fox.
Look at
I think they like you.
this guy. I might shed a tear. Man, this has been a cool weekend. Obviously, Memorial Day weekend means a lot. I'm growing up here watching Dad run this race for a long time, and it's so cool to just be a part of it, let alone win it. And yeah, I just was able to get the lead on the restart, and then just kind of, our car was so good that I could kind of bide my time a little bit, and we were able to drive off, and I was hoping no caution just because you never know. I know we had the car to do it, but restarts can be crazy, but I cannot thank Body Armor enough. It's awesome. We have their cherry lime camo car here with Operation Homefront, Menards, Advanced Auto Parts, Worth, Ford, so many other partners that do so much for us, Dent Wizard and Dex Imaging. So, you start to get to feel like you can't win anymore, and when you don't win in a while, and kind of get hard. So just super thankful to the 12 guys for believing in me, and thank you guys for sticking around. Really appreciate it.
After a number of cautions that happened late in the race, Blaney led the field to the green flag with 20 laps to go. He also had a lead of over 1 second over Byron before he won by 0.663 seconds. Martin Truex Jr. finished third ahead of 2311 Racing teammates in Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. The rest of the top 10 included Kyle Busch finishing 6th, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finishing 7th, Chris Buescher 8th, Austin Dillon 9th, and a good run for Zane Smith, who finished 10th. Other notable finishers included Kevin Harvick, who finished 11th in his final Coca-Cola 600 and won the race in 2011 and 2013. Alex Bowman finished 12th in his first race since coming back from a back injury. Brad Keselowski was 19th, Chase Briscoe 20th, Joey Logano 21st, Ross Chastain 22nd, Daniel Suarez 23rd, Christopher Bell 24th, Kyle Larson 30th, Austin Cindric 31st, and Jimmy Johnson 37th, respectively. Blaney won the third stage of the race and is also second in the point standings. He is 1 point behind Chastain. Byron got his 8th top 10 finish of the year. He was closing on Blaney late, but ran out of time. Here's Byron's thoughts on what he needed to do more to pass Blaney and more, also courtesy of Fox. Fun fact, also Byron happens to be dating Blaney's sister, Erin.
We just need it a little bit. Just really happy for Ryan. He really deserves it. He's a good dude, and cool to see him get a win. But yeah, we just need a little bit. I felt like there were enough restarts for him to get back towards the front. He had that one, pit road where he lost a few spots and it was kind of between us and the 5, but I knew the 12 and the 45 were a little bit stronger than us. But just thanks to this Liberty University Chevrolet team, the car was great tonight. I mean, just not quite good enough, but really proud of the effort. Pit crew was phenomenal in pit road. I mean, those guys are just high energy, and that pit stall helped. So just a credit to the few weeks before Darlington, and just proud of where our team is at. Just need a little bit more.
There was a crash before the final 20-lap run to the checkered flag, which was one of the most serious. Kyle Larson was sideways, and after a restart on lap 375, he also bounced off other leading cars like a pinball. The other drivers that were involved in the incident was Christopher Bell, Ty Gibbs, Joey Logano, and Eric Almirola. The race was postponed from Sunday to Monday due to rain. It was also the first time in the history of the 600 that there was no practice and qualifying. The first time the drivers were on the track was in the race itself. The 400-lap race on Monday was also stopped on lap 159 due to more rain. During the delay, Almirola and Bubba Wallace had a talk that became physical after Almirola shoved Wallace. The two were separated, and there were no more incidents as a result. However, the incident that caused discussion was on lap 185 that took out defending Coca-Cola 600 winner Denny Hamlin and 5-time most popular driver Chase Elliott out of the race. After Hamlin and Elliott made contact into the outside wall, Elliott's 9 Chevrolet turned Hamlin's 11 Toyota on the front stretch. Hamlin's car bounced off the wall after a big impact and wound up collecting Elliott's car also. Hamlin and his crew chief Chris Gabehart both thought Elliott turned Hamlin intentionally. Here's Hamlin's thoughts on the incident and more, courtesy of Fox.
Yeah, it's a tantrum, and he shouldn't be racing next week. Right rear hooks are absolutely unacceptable. I don't care. It's same thing Bubba Wallace did with Kyle Larson. The exact same. He shouldn't be racing. It's a tantrum.
Elliott didn't think the accident was intentional. Here's his thoughts. No, like I said, once you hit the wall in these things, you can't drive them anymore, Elliott said. So no, just unfortunate circumstances. However, NASCAR disagreed with Elliott and agreed with Hamlin. Elliott was suspended for a race as a result of the incident, and Hendrick Motorsports will not appeal the suspension. He will be replaced by Corey LaJoie, interesting, at Worldwide Technology Raceway, aka Gateway, in the 9 car, which is located outside of St. Louis, the track. Here's NASCAR Senior Vice President of Competition, Elton Sawyer, talking about the incident on Sirius NASCAR Radio. It was an intentional act by Chase, in our opinion, in our view, after reviewing all of the available resources, Sawyer said. Hendrick Motorsports understood why NASCAR suspended Elliott and said in a statement, "We understand NASCAR's need to maintain consistency in its officiating. Gateway will be the 7th race that Elliott will miss this year, as he already missed 6 before that due to a leg injury while snowboarding in Colorado earlier in the year. Elliott was already in a tough spot, being 29th in points, and will have to win to have a chance at making the playoffs." I got to talk about that. How stupid is Chase Elliott, knowing that, like I said, he's deep in the points, and he's missed a lot of time because of the injury after snowboarding in Colorado. How stupid is he to be able to do that, to intentionally wreck Hamlin like that? And good out of NASCAR to suspend him. I never would have thought NASCAR would actually suspend Chase Elliott since he's the golden boy and most popular driver. But the fact that they actually did it, shout out to him on actually doing that, shows you that they have no preference. If it's intentional, it's intentional. It doesn't matter who you are or how popular you are. So good out of NASCAR for them. And good for Hamlin for standing up for it. Because Hamlin, he's not very liked by the fans for the most part. And Elliott obviously is. So good out of Hamlin. And he was right for once as well. How stupid is Elliott to do that? And I lost respect for Elliott as a result. Never was a fan and never will be. But you can't be taking risks like that knowing that you got to win in order to make the playoffs, especially after already missing races. And that's so stupid out of him to do that. It doesn't make it seem like, I don't know what he was thinking to do that. But obviously now he's got to sit out. So it was obviously deserved there. And Hendrick Motorsports not appealing makes them understand that, yeah, they got to be consistent, as they said. So good out of NASCAR to do it. Obviously, it's dangerous to do what he did. Obviously, that incident with Bubba Wallace and Kyle Larson last year was very controversial as well. And obviously, Wallace was well deserved to be suspended for that as well. And Hamlin obviously had the right to say that because, Wallace drives for Hamlin for 23-11. So, yeah, that was a good move out of NASCAR to do that. And obviously, Elliott needs to be more careful next time. Obviously, he didn't admit that he was intentionally wrecked. Obviously, he can't do that. Obviously, when Wallace did, he admitted it. But obviously, NASCAR could tell by the actions on the track. Actions speak louder than words. And obviously, what Elliott did was wrong. And as a result, he paid the price for it. So, obviously, now he's got to win. And I expect him to still win at some point. But he continues to keep giving himself some self-inflicted wounds as a result. So he needs to be more careful and all that. So thank God after the incident, nobody got hurt as well. And very interesting to see Corey LaJoie drive the 9 car since he's driving for Spire Motorsports. So it'll be interesting to see how that'll play out as well. But on to the winner itself. Congratulations to Ryan Blaney on winning the Coca-Cola 600. It's been a long time coming for him. Obviously, that last win was at Daytona 2021. And he's won at Charlotte before. He won on the Roval in the first race held on the track there back in 2018. So he's won on that track before. That was the race with Martin Truex Jr., Jimmy Johnson collided, and Blaney got by late in that race to win that first race at the Roval version. So this was his first time winning on the Oval. And obviously, it's been a long time coming for him. Very emotional interview as well. After that interview, and the fans were cheering for him. How can you not like Ryan Blaney after that? And you know what? I become a fan as well. And I obviously liked that Ryan Blaney at one point, but he did something that I didn't like, and I don't remember what it was, but I lost some respect for it. But obviously after this, how emotional it was, the interview and all that, great win by him. And, I became a respect for Ryan Blaney as well. The fans were cheering for him. So good for Blaney. He's a good driver. And, I wish him all the success. And hopefully he ends up winning a lot more races. And obviously he's in great equipment with Penske. So definitely expect him to win as well. And he won recently as well. Like as recently as the All-Star race. He won at Texas, that race. But obviously that's not a points-paying race. So that doesn't really count for points there. But as far as like him winning overall. So this is awesome that he got to win. Especially, and it's great confidence booster for him. And what a weekend for Team Penske, especially with Josef Newgarden winning the Indianapolis 500 and Blaney winning the Coca-Cola 600. It's hard to believe that was never the case where they both won like the same weekend. Obviously, the Coca-Cola 600 is a very tough race to win, especially it's a big test on like man and machine. Especially it's 600 miles for a reason. Obviously, the guys who built the track there. But obviously, the race was originally called the World 600. And the reason why they did that because they wanted to see how do you go bigger like than 500 miles with the Indianapolis 500. Mike Joy was mentioning this in the broadcast as well. You go 600. And obviously that's how they used to try to get it bigger. And it's very unique as well as being one of the crown jewels of the race. Obviously originally being known as the World 600, eventually becoming the Coca-Cola 600. So it's a big test on man and machine. Obviously obviously these cars are a lot stronger than what the Gen 4 and the car tomorrow and the Gen 6 cars were. And obviously back then you had to worry about, can the car last like beyond like 500 miles since they're used to like driving 500 miles. A lot of times the engines were blown. But obviously these cars are a lot stronger now with the electronic fuel injection and all that. So definitely it just tells you like the test and drivers at the end of the night get to be very exhausted. Normally this race is run at night, but obviously since it was postponed due to rain. And Mike Joy always has that famous line, stock car races longest night. Obviously he couldn't say that this time since it was run in the day for the most part. So he said stock car race longest race. It's just a big test of like man and machine. Like I said, because it's just endurance and a lot of times you get exhausted afterwards. So definitely a great win for Blaney. Obviously he comes from a racing family as well. His father Dave used to run in NASCAR as well. Very successful in the dirt racing, winning the World of Outlaws. So Blaney has a lot of dirt background, even though he mostly came from like, pavement. And his grandfather also raced as well. And the great success, like the family, obviously Dave Blaney being known as the Buckeye Bullet. So definitely being from Ohio originally. So definitely a great family of racing and happy for Blaney that he got to win it. Obviously some people think, this guy might be the next Casey Kane. That's disrespectful to Ryan Blaney. He's no Casey Kane. Casey Kane, nothing against Casey Kane. I like Casey Kane, but he was very overhyped and very under-delivered. And obviously he never lived up to the potential that he showed at Everham Motorsports early in his career when he was driving the 9 car, the Dodge with them. But Blaney, he's much better than, obviously, like I said, he's a much better equipment with Team Penske. And Blaney, he's a good driver, and I expect him to win a lot more races. And Kane only won 18 in his career, something like that. And he was named one of the 75 greatest drivers, even though I kind of disagree with that. But that's a whole nother thing there. But even though he has his success in the Coca-Cola 600 as well. But Blaney, he finally got a crown jewel win as well. And to be able to dominate like this, he's been known for like winning late. And so this was a good one. And he earned this one. So congratulations to Blaney on winning the race. And it was just awesome to be able to see him do that. And very emotional interview, like I said. And so, and Blaney, he does a good job like when he's on FS1 with Joey Logano and also Adam Alexander. And he has some good stuff in the booth. And he was doing a driver's broadcast over the Saturday as well. But they weren't able to actually do the race because it was postponed due to rain, the Xfinity race. We was there with Kevin Harvick and Logano there too. So that was fun. And Blaney does probably some good insight in the booth. So yeah, definitely cool for Blaney to be able to do this. And definitely that'll be a nice confidence booster for him moving forward and all that too. So definitely an emotional win for Ryan Blaney because you just never know when you're going to win another race, especially how emotional he was in his post-race interview as well. Just never know when you're going to win. It's not guaranteed, especially how long he went without winning. And to be able to do it on a weekend like Memorial Day weekend, where NASCAR does a great job honoring all like the fallen members of the U.S. Armed Forces and all that. And very cool that they honor those military members by putting their names on the front windshield of the cars. And I have a little bit of a background of like their story and what they did in the military as well. And they always do a great job with that as well, like having the military there at the race as well. So especially like with that, Coca-Cola is going to be there and the NASCAR salutes and all that as well. So definitely great job out of NASCAR for that as well. And like I said, congratulations to Blaney, as he's the third driver to end a long winless streak this year, joining Mark Truex Jr., who had a 54-race winless streak at Dover Motor Speedway, and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., a 199-race winless streak at the Daytona Fighter as well. So congratulations again to Blaney on winning the Coca-Cola 600 as well. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like. And if you are brand new, subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.